Hello, this is Raven's Chicken Coop, and today we are here to talk about broody chicks. So, let's get into it. Now, you might be new to chickens. You might not know anything about chickens. You might think you need incubators, or you have to have a bunch of skill, or a chicken that's been around for a while. But honestly, this Silky that you see on the screen right now, this is her first year when she hatched these chicks. This was within 3 weeks of her starting to lay eggs when she sat on those 8 chicks, probably 7 by the time this was taken. One died the first day, but the fact of the matter is these chickens know how to raise their babies and they're good at it. So now a lot of people, and this is something you're going to see a lot of people telling you on the internet, tell you that you have to have a broody house or you have to completely just take all the chicks inside after she hatches them. Now, that may be true for your situation or their situation. It could be true for any number of things. I found that with mine, I just gave her, once she hatched the babies, I gave her a little cloth you see on the front of the coop there. That way the little chicks would be protected a little more from the wind and a little more darkness, and they wanted it. But I gave them food and water that they could get immediate access to with their mom. The mom was so good about protecting them from the pecking order. And the fact of the matter is, depending on your situation, you may or may not need to take them inside. If you have aggressive birds that are going to bowl over your hen and beat those chicks up, maybe you do need to put them in their own place, their own coop, their own pen. But mine did pretty well with her taking care of them until they all either got picked off by predators or sold off or given away. Once the other chickens started being mean to them again, once mom stopped protecting them when she was ready to lay eggs again. So here is this is probably hatching day. This is probably me out there checking for eggs. So what happens is, I believe it is 29 days those chickens will sit on the eggs. They're going to sit on those eggs until exactly when the eggs are ready to come. So you got to be ready for that. The chickens are they're great at it. They keep them perfect. They turn them. They keep them hot. They move them around. Sometimes they'll push them out from under them on a hot day. They do regulate the temp very well. You do not need an incubator. You do not at all, to incubate the eggs. That's not well, it's 21 days anyway. I apologize about saying 24. So it's 21 days for them to sit on the eggs and incubate them. She sat on them for 20. So day 19, I heard chirping. Day 20, they started hatching. Day 21, everything was out of the eggs. I had all the eggs out from under her. Everything was dry, and it was great. So what happened with me was she raised them all out. It was just fine. The thing is, she's a Silky. You might see your chickens and wonder when they're going to start sitting on them. Well, do you have chickens that actually sit on eggs? Because that is important to know if they do or do not sit on eggs. Because if your chickens won't sit on eggs, that it's going to happen where they don't. If they do, then they can. They won't always. And I think most of any egg production birds that have been bred out of them because they lay eggs. So if you're buying a bird that's told you that this thing is a great egg producer, there's a chance that those eggs are never going to get sat on by those chickens. So let me get into a little note I have here. Now, I personally know that the Silkies are great for it. Silkies sit on them, that's the end of it. So out of some chickens that will sit on their eggs, you got the Dominics, which look like barred rocks, but they're from England. You got the Icelandics, you got the Dorkings, the Morans, the Chanticleers, you got the Kubala, the Orpingtons, my favorite, the Silky, the Chokins or Cochins, the White Sussex, and the Light Brahmas. My Brahmas have not tried to sit on the eggs. So some other important things, other than just the breeds and everything, you have to remember when you're trying to hatch these eggs that the chicken that's going to sit on them is going to want a dark area. So if it's a big bright coop with nowhere for her to hide, they're not going to want to sit on the eggs so much. If you want to encourage laying, you need to have nest boxes that are safe, secure, not in direct sunlight. You need to do what you can to encourage them to actually enjoy what they're doing. So you'll see here my chicken, this is probably the second day she took him outside. She's more than just outside the door. So that would have been the second day she took him outside. So very important here. We're looking at her eating food in the chicken coop right now. My chicken is raising them herself, which means that she has access to their food. And honestly, she needs to be able to eat the food to teach them how to do it. So you have medicated and unmedicated food. From my understanding, you do not want to give adult chickens that lay eggs medicated chick starter. And you're not going to want to give these little chicks access to big chicken food because they won't get the nutrients and everything they need. So if you're going to raise them with your other chickens or with their mom, you're going to have to give them unmedicated chick starter. If you want to get them antibiotics or something, you're going to have them injected with those separately than their food. You don't want to make your eggs toxic. You don't want to make anything bad for the other chickens. The big chickens can eat the baby food while you have some baby ones. It will not be a problem. That's what my good friends over at the Backyard Chicken told me. And, you know, I just enjoy it. You know, you get them their non-medicated food. All the big chickens loved when I switched back to the baby food. They loved it. I mean, you don't even have to be worried about them complaining about it. They just loved it. So, you know, from start to finish, I didn't have to do anything to raise these chicks. 7 of them hatched out well. She took perfect care of the 7 that made it. 1 failed to thrive. And 3 got picked off by a cat. But let's be honest, that Silky is a tiny little chicken. She ain't as tiny as I thought they'd be, being bantams. But, you know, she's still tiny. I was out there before I sold off the last 4. I was out there hand feeding her and the chicks, and a cat literally came out of nowhere and landed in the middle of all of us with me standing there. If that cat's willing to pick off chicks with me standing there, then that mom never had any chance of protecting them from that cat. You know, they might be able to do it from dogs or other things that they see coming, but the cats, by the time they get one of those chicks, they're going to run off with it. So you got to be careful about their free ranging during the day. This is another reason some people do a broody pen. They want to actually confine not just the mom, but the babies too, so that there is no predation issue. Now, in my case, once I knew there was a predation issue, I was able to step up security, and we actually closed down the whole coop early. Once that happened, I said, you know what, guys? It's already like coming up into November. We're just going to go to season. We're going to close up the coop. The other chickens weren't happy about that, but they seem fine with it now because they usually free range. So now that's about it, really. That's all I can think of. So some points to go back over real quick while we're still here. You want to make sure that you're getting chickens, if you want them to be broody, that are known for being broody. If you're getting chickens that are known for being great egg layers, make sure that they go broody at least sometimes. Or you might have chickens that are never going to sit on those eggs. If those hens have no inkling to sit on those eggs, you're not going to end up with chicks. So if you want chicks, you'll have to end up incubating or something else if you're just dead set on a breed that's not going to sit. Think of any chicken breed that you're going to find in a commercial hatchery, like a commercial hen house for... What am I trying to think of here? I'm trying to say a commercial egg farm. So if you think of any birds that would be on a commercial egg farm, the likelihood is that those are not going to be good broodies. Now the Silkies, they are renowned for being good broodies. The problem is they are smaller than the other hens. Even if not much, it still makes a big difference in how many eggs they can actually sit on. So if you want them to sit on eggs, you just got to remember, if you're going to get a Silky or 2 for your hen house just to hatch them out, that they won't be able to sit on as many as a bigger chicken would. Like my big light Brahma could sit on twice as many eggs as her right now, maybe 3 times as many. And, you know, it is a beautiful process. It's great to watch the moms raise the babies. I did 2 sets of chickens that were day olds when I got them, or 2 days in the case of the ones I had shipped. You know, it's great to raise them in the house and in the brooder, but I feel like them being with their mom is just so much better for them. And my Silky was great. She always let me handle the chicks. She always let me under her. She would do the whole pancake thing. That's if you think your chicken's broody, try to stick your hand in there. If they go pancake mode, they're putting those little wings out and they're getting real flat. When you see them all flat, you're going to know. You're going to be like, that chicken is broody, because they go into what we call a pancake mode. And they're just spread out on all of it. You'll see here, I don't have the curtain down because I'm actually interacting with them. But those chicks, you know, until they were about a month and a half old, they were just fine letting me pick them up. At that point, they got a little skittish. That was when their friends started going missing. You know, I was a little sad to see them not like me so much, but I didn't have as much time to handle them, especially considering that I had probably 20 chickens at the time. Your numbers will fluctuate. They'll go up and down. So if you want broody chickens, make sure that you're researching the breeds that you need. You know, I gave you a list there earlier. I have light Brahmas myself. When they sit, I will let you guys know. Right now, the only one I've ever had sit is this Silky. And, well, you know what? She's a beautiful baby girl, and she had beautiful baby birds. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys off here. I will leave you some music to play out, and you can watch Mama with her chickens for just a little bit longer. Thank you much.